Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another podcast with Tim and Justin. Tim, I think it's
But
about 11 o'clock at night for you. We've been so busy finally linking up at my 7 o'clock in the morning, your 11 o'clock at night. So thanks for joining us, and it's really good to be here. Hey,
mm,
Tim, this topic is something that, I really want to get out there because I think people feel like they should understand this and they just
yep,
don't,
yep,
like I was one of them, right? I've told that
yep.
a little bit if you go back to our Christmas special and that stuff. But I think it's really important to maybe tell folks, just talk about what MRP is and why we have it and kind of the objective and purpose of it. And man, I think you're really good at explaining it. So if you wouldn't mind, walk through that and then we'll kind of discuss it and see what we can do to help people see the picture.
Yeah, spot on. This is fundamental. So first, I'll explain what MRP stands for. So it stands for Material Requirements Planning, and this is important from a maintenance perspective or operations or engineering. When they require material, well, this program that runs in the background, which is just like a big calculator, all it is for especially for spare parts, it's a big calculator that's saying, hey, what stock do I have? Or if it's a material that's not stocked, what demand do I have? And I need to balance it with supply. So all it's doing is trying to calculate, says, okay, I've got one in stock. He needs three. I need to go buy two. Oh, but plus another one to put me back at my reorder point. So that's all it's doing is trying to balance, your demand versus your supply. And if you're doing stock or non-stock, it takes that into account. So that in a nutshell, it's just a simple calculator. And most people run it once a day. Other people run it more frequently. Some people run it
Mhm.
weekly. That's up to you. It depends on your strategy and how often you want to create POs. But more and more automation and AI, you probably realize you run it. The more mature you get, the more frequent you run MRP.
That's right. Yeah, and I think that's really good. If you're an organization that's struggling, and this, I see this in oil and gas a lot, right? We've got a
Mhm.
big chief tablet, number two pencil type mentalities, just old school, go get what you need, and that's fine. Like I'm not knocking that, but it's really hard to plan and schedule, and if you don't have your stuff together and you don't really know what you're buying. I see a lot of opportunity in that. And MRP is not just for production, for manufacturing, for
No,
production planning, right? It
it's
really it
across
really
the board.
does do all the heavy lifting for you. Yeah, and so if
Yep.
if you've got a procurement team that feels like they can't ever catch up and they're always sourcing things, and they're just responding to every requisition that's being cut directly to a work order, or you know God forbid, just an invoice coming in or something like that. This is the way, right? This is the start of gathering your thoughts
Yep.
and organizing stuff so you can have a little bit of control over that. Because
Yep.
really what it does is if you follow that MRO flow and you let MRP do the heavy lift, right? It sets
Yep.
you up for being able to plan and budget and have those really strong conversations with your vendors and saying, hey, like I know I'm going to use this many of these, and we've got help us with our program, our filter program, or
Yeah. Yep.
our spare part program, whatever it is. Help us. I know exactly when I'm going to need it, when I need it, and it just starts taking that heavy lift, and it gets a lot of the procurement work done well up front early
Well,
on in the
and the,
year,
and the
and then we just
the
kind of turn
really
into analysts.
yeah, the important thing there is if you've got maintenance people that are constantly talking to suppliers, you're doing it wrong. And that's going to be hard for some people to
Absolutely.
comprehend because maintenance job is to maintain plant, not to talk to suppliers and get quotes. And if that's the world you're in, you're wasting money on a maintenance person who should be on the tools fixing your plant or keeping it reliable versus they're spending time talking to vendors, getting quotes, creating requisitions. That's what your
Yeah,
ERP system does. So again, if you cataloged it, well, then all they need to do is say, I've got a work order to fix this part or maintain this piece of equipment. I need that material, this quantity on that
that's
date.
right.
Then MRP does the rest. And so that's an important piece
That's
to
it.
get to that point and say, maintenance, guys, stop talking to suppliers. What do you need? We'll catalog it. We'll build that information in and where we supply it. Then it's procurement's job. You just got to tell me how many you need. When do you want them? and then we'll do the rest. And if I can't get them in time, I'll come let you know.
And that is a awesome segue into MRP exceptions. And we really want to take a deep dive into those in this podcast.
Yep. Yeah,
So
definitely.
stay tuned because I'm going to show you guys how to put what'd you say to me the other day? Wear your underwear on the outside of your pants,
Put your undies
Superman.
on the outside so you can be like Superman.
That's but that's it. So guys, remember MRP, all it is balancing supply and demand and letting the system do the heavy lift.
Yep.
And then teaching your people to manage by exceptions that are valid and relevant to them. So we're gonna
Spot
jump
on.
into that soon. Stay tuned. Super glad you guys joined us. Have a great day, have a great week, and can't wait to see you next on the next one.
Yep. See everybody.